Welcome to Everyday Ethics, everybody, the show where I incessantly beg for super chats and super stickers. My co host today is the wonderful Persephone. I think she's got a great topic for us. So without further ado, I will turn it over to her.
I like how you say my co-host today as though it's not every day.
You got a point there. My regular co host,
I,
Persephone.
d- I do sometimes make good points. Sometimes. Um, am I gonna do the whole spiel again? Hi guys, please go follow us on Twitch. Please go and find all of the podcasts on Spotify.
Listen.
Listen, give them a rating. Please go and look at the merch. I don't even care if you buy it at this point.
All
Just go
right.
look
I
at
don't
it.
like your sarcasm. Let's leave that to me.
That's rude. Okay, so you sent me a great article called "Reclaim Your Attention Before It's Too Late."
Right. But if anybody in the audience has questions, please ask them. Were there any on the website?
There were not any on the website. I did
Okay.
double check,
All right.
so I didn't see anything on the website. But feel free, ask in the chat, ask on Twitch, submit the form now, and then we'll abandon this topic and we'll talk about whatever your questions are. Um, so this article is about Ben Sass, who's dying of pancreatic cancer, and in an interview said that the technological advances such as smartphones allow our consciousness to leave the time and place where we actually live. And he says, as a consequence, even more human addictions and distractions are coming. He was honest about his own misprioritization and his regrets. And he says that the grand divide in society will not be about class, but about intentionality and what you do with your affections and these super tools.
Okay.
Why did. Akira, you should always ask questions because your questions are always great. Why did you.
Oh, there's a question.
So we have a wonderful question that says, Persephone, how many times a day do you reflect on how fortunate you are to work with someone as wonderful as Michael? Seriously, at least once a day.
I thought that was
Right
a good question. I mean,
right before we get on the air. In all seriousness though, you are wonderful.
thank you very
You're very
much. You're not
smart, you're very funny, and you're very mean, but in a very hilarious kind of way.
in a Don Rickles kind of way.
You're also I've just noticed that you're fading into the background. You
Yes,
need to
because I
change.
wore this shirt. But I'm going out. See, look, I can fade out because of the shirt I'm wearing is this color. But I didn't want to put on a different shirt and then change. This is the shirt I'm wearing tonight. That's it. So what were your thoughts on this article? I'm curious.
I had many thoughts. I think that the core of it is true. He says a lot of things that are very true. It can come across as a little bit scaremongery, but at the base of it, I think that he's right. I think that at one point he says artificial intelligence or AI will be transformative for those who bring genuine intentionality and devastating for those who don't.
Hmm.
So my friend has a teenage, it's her sister, but she lives with her full time, so she's basically taken on the role of like mother figure. And I have a nephew that is the same age as her sister daughter. And something that we've noticed in these kids is that because they have access to AI and they have had access to AI for like a very formative part of their life, they struggle so much with basic comprehension and with just doing like really simple tasks. And at work, I've noticed how many people outsource their thinking entirely to AI. And if you see it on Twitter as well, Grok, is this true? Or they say, "Hey ChatGPT, will you write this email for me?" And it's it's scary. The people who know how to use AI will use it well, but it's been very damaging to younger people and to a lot of people. I'm I'm also very excited for Michael to share his wisdom. What did you think about the article?
So, if anybody wants the truth, it's really good that you're here today because I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you
I'm
a
gonna.
couple examples first. So, just to set the table a little bit, there's an episode of House where this woman was dying. Or she wasn't dying yet. She was very sick. She was in the hospital. And she was a very prominent cancer researcher who gave that up to do in life what she thought was fun. And the other doctors were, when the doctors found out who she was and that she had given up, they were aghast because they felt like this, she had the chance to cure cancer, basically. And one of them said to her, when you're on your deathbed, you're really going to regret this. And she said, I'll spend a day on my deathbed. I'm worried about the rest of my life. Meaning, when you're at the end, that's a very short period. I'll give you another example. A lot of people get upset when suppose you and I have an argument right now when we go off the air, and I drive away and I crash and I die. The propensity is for people to think, oh my God, that's so terrible. The last words I said to him were fuck off, or you're such a jerk, or, whatever. That's life. Like, it's life. You argue with people. You may get mad at people and say things you don't, you wish you hadn't. You can't worry about when someone dies. Oh my God, the last thing I said. What about all the good things that you said? That's a part of life, is arguing, saying things, whatever. And it's true that your deathbed is so such a limited space. So I bring that up because Ben Sass is dying, right? And I just think there's a propensity for when people are dying. Like there's the song, I wish you had the chance to live like you were dying, because now everything becomes, a different perspective. Or you'll get people to say, spend time with your loved ones. We're running out of time. I just want to live my life. Now, as far as AI goes, like people say, oh, look how much time you're on your phone. Okay, previous to that, how much of that time were they watching television? Or distracting themselves with something else? And how tedious was life? Like the idea that prior to modern technology, that life, where the span was 40 years and you were up to your neck in horse shit, was somehow this golden age. I don't buy it. Right. And they give this example in here about, the guy he uses his craft and he builds this really nice thing. Well, what about the people who make really wonderful things with AI? You know what I mean? And like I get the fear of outsourcing your thinking to AI if you're cheating, right? Like if I'm going to write a paper and I just have AI do it and I put it out there as if it's mine, that's cheating. That's lying. That's a problem. But for instance, like when I'm preparing for a debate, I'll ask AI, what are some arguments that are against the position I'm going against? How is that any different than if I read this and use some of the arguments from in here when I'm debating somebody? I ultimately still have to remember them. I have to assess them. I have to decide whether they're good, whether they're true. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm just plagiarizing, I can do that anyway, AI or no AI.
Do I agree with you? I think that you said some things that are very true, but I also think that you didn't really talk about what I was talking about. Yes, sure, people can go and read a book and lift paragraphs out of that. The AI makes it a lot easier. And I don't think it's necessarily a problem. Actually, I do think that people do spend too much time on their phones, and sure, maybe they were like watching TV, but I do think that the way that the algorithms work nowadays are more addictive. Um, because if you're what like if you were watching TV, it's like 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour of watching the same thing. But when you're
No, it
like
wasn't. Nope. No, 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 no. Google it. Prior to the year 2000, how much time did the average American spend watching
oh no no
TV?
no no no, I'm not saying that they only spent half an hour watching TV. I'm saying a TV program was half an hour.
But so who cares? I mean,
No,
so
I think
what if I say, well, I'm on a TikTok video only for 30 seconds, but if I spend all day watching TikTok videos, I'm
so.
still
This
wasting
is,
my time.
I mean, yes, that I'm not arguing with you. It is a waste of time. The my issue is that spending all day watching TV is bad, but spending all day like doom scrolling on TikTok, that's just as bad. It's
Sure,
just a new it's
sure.
just a new type of bad.
Right, but my point is that the idea of wasting time or not thinking about things is not new with AI. AI, like anything else, you can use it to be very productive or you can waste your time doing it. But my point is that human beings have had opportunities to do things like this before. It's not new to AI. Like he says that I'm not, Recluse, he says, I'm not directly talking about AI. My point is that there's a tendency for every generation to say this generation is fucked. This generation is doing things that are bad. My point isn't that AI is a wonderful thing, that there's no downside to it. I don't disagree with that. I disagree that it's anything new. And people will say things like this, Persephone. These kids nowadays don't even know how to count change. Or the kids nowadays don't know how to write cursive. But if they don't have to, who cares?
Who
What difference
cares?
does it make? You know what? Growing up, I don't know how to fit a horse for shoes. I also don't know how to saddle a horse. Things that people back in the day maybe knew how to do. I don't know how to tabulate the cost of things in terms of gold and silver, but people one time knew how to do that too. If stuff becomes irrelevant, it becomes irrelevant. You don't need to know these things to be smart. The point is can you get things done in life? Can you live a flourishing life? That's what it's about. And if somebody knows how to use AI to get those things done, they're not substituting AI's thinking for theirs. They're using their thinking to get AI to do things for them. That's not a problem. Now,
No,
like I
that's
said, if you say this, like if I go in here and I say, okay, I want an essay written on quantum mechanics from the perspective of objectivist philosophy, right? Now, AI will do that for me. Now, if I post that
as your own.
to, yeah, and say, by Michael Liebowitz, or if I go to school and I present that if it's my own, that's a problem. Yes, it's a problem because it's dishonest, and it's a problem too because I'm not thinking about what it is. I'm just having something produce the result for me. But kids used to cheat in school. Kids used to get copies of the tests ahead of time, look over at the person next to them, have the smart kid do their homework for them. That's nothing new. It might be easier now, but it's still nothing new. The problem is with the character of the people, not with the technology.
Okay, I want to say something. First of all, Akira said, "I hate to agree with Persephone." What does that mean, Akira? But okay, so what I want to say is, I feel like you're being very generous. Number one, and number two, like with most things, I don't think that this is a black and white thing. I don't think it's either AI is amazing or AI is garbage and should be destroyed. Like with most things, there's nuance to it, right? if you're using AI, like if you're substituting your own thinking for AI, then that's bad. If you're using AI as a tool to help you, I need to cough, then that's good.
So Persephone is going to cough, and Persephone is just backtracking and agreeing with me while pretending she's not.
No, so I think that you're too generous because I think that you surround yourself with a specific type of person and you don't often experience the types of people who do substitute AI for their own thinking. And yes, you can like simplify it and say, well, it's cheating and therefore it's wrong. But when you're talking about kids, like young kids, 15, 16, or kids reclusy age, however old
Okay.
reclusy is.
Okay. So, first of all, Persephone, I grew up with criminals. I was a criminal. I spent 25 years surrounded by criminals. The idea that I don't know the kind of people who would let something do their thinking for them is ludicrous, right? So let's put that there first. Secondly, I spend enough of my time enmeshed in social media and have seen the people that use AI to write their stuff for them. What I'm saying is the dynamic, the phenomenon of people being lazy, of people cheating, of people having others do their thinking for them is not new. It didn't just spring forward because of AI. Of course, AI can be used for bad things. There's no doubt about that. But those opportunities were there before, and it's a character issue more than anything.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But you know what AI has done, which is problematic? AI has made it so much easier and so much quicker. So, yeah, you could plagiarize. Like people in when I went to school 25 years ago, they were plagiarizing. You know what? It took them a long time to do.
So that's the argument that AI makes it quicker. You know what else AI does? Gives you quick access to information. So if you actually want information, it's there for you. It also
Yeah.
can summarize information very rapidly for you. My point is that the benefits of AI so outweigh the negatives that you're talking about. It's not even close in my view. And I think that there's two things that go on here. There's the glorification of the good old days takes place on one hand, and on the other hand, the demonization of the present generation. Both those things take place. I'm not, again, saying that there's no downside to AI. There's downsides to automobiles in that you have, more people die in car crashes than they did in horse and buggy accidents. But nevertheless, the automobile on net is a huge boon to humanity, as are airplanes. Yes, Jim Valiant says the Xerox machine once made plagiarism quicker too. Now, look, okay, let me throw something at you. So I'm reading Michael Huemer's book right now on epistemology, right? So in order for me to pose questions to AI, I have to actually read Huemer's book. To actually understand it so that I can communicate it with others, I have to understand it, right? So I'll say to AI, what is an objection to this guy's point? This, what the hell was it? Getier's refutation, right? I came up with my own first. In my own mind, I had some. Then I asked AI for some. But if I want to debate that or communicate it effectively in conversation to somebody else, I have to actually understand it. And if somebody's a fraud and uses that and goes and puts it out, the person likely will be exposed for being a fraud. So there won't really be a large payoff for it. Reclusi says, well, what if somebody went for, they get an MA in philosophy by doing this? Okay, but who ultimately gets cheated because that person does it? A few people that might follow him? Perhaps. But if those people are actually learning from the stuff that person puts out there, those people are benefiting, and that person will be found out. Likely to be found out.
Okay. I think my friend and business partner is heavily anti-AI, right? Heavily. She she is waiting for all of the models to crash. Like she's desperate for AI to end. I I think that it can be dangerous in the wrong hands, but overall I'm pro AI, right? I think it's very
No, I have to. I want to address Reclusi. Reclusi, I have not moved a single goalpost. My position has been the exact same from the start of the discussion. There's no
I
goalpost moved. None. My position from the beginning is that on net, AI is a benefit, although it does have some downsides. My position has been for decades that people tend to glorify the past while hating on the present technologies, whatever they may be. People don't walk anywhere anymore because now they have the bicycle. People don't ride their bicycles anymore because now there's a car. People don't spend good time together at dinner because now everybody's watching the television. These types of criticisms are not new and they're not unique to AI. That's been my position from the start. And your take on not being able to give essays anymore, I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I do not buy that you're unable to give essays because of ChatGPT. For one thing, it's usually pretty obvious when ChatGPT writes an essay. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you took the time to converse with the kids, you would see if they're actually understanding what's written there.
Oh, now we're gonna get into Megan Ribbon's territory. Wait,
I'm
I
just
want to
well,
say,
no,
I want
because
to.
what I'm saying is there's end runs around this. You can also use AI to assess if what's written was written by
No, you
AI.
can't. No,
Yes,
you
you
can't.
can. Yes,
No,
you
you.
can. Absolutely can.
No, you.
Absolutely, you
No,
can.
you can't. It is not accurate.
Oh my God. This is going to make me nuts. I am not saying that if you use AI to assess it, that it's 100% foolproof. What I'm saying is AI can tell you specific things to look for AI writing, for instance, and it can flag certain things. I'm not saying it's 100%. Nothing has ever been
I think it's
100%.
I think it's like 50-50. Like it's hit or miss. I've put stuff that I've written and it's given me like 97% AI generated. And it's cuz I write well.
Okay. Can AI tell you things to look for to detect whether something's written by AI?
Yes, it
That's all I'm
can, but
saying.
it's 50-50.
But you
That's my
still
that's
have to use your mind ultimately. But
true.
but if an 11-year-old is giving me a systematic refutation of Getier's refutation,
So
I know the kid hasn't written that. My
so
point is there's ways around it. That's all I'm saying. Like
of
there was
course
ways around cheating. Nothing is foolproof. It never has been.
sure. Like I don't think that anybody would argue that AI is the first or the worst. Um and again, like I'm not anti AI. I'm fairly pro AI, but I do think that it is dangerous. Anyway, did you know that
I
in
think you should read the two smartest people here are Jim Valiant and Mr. Deagle because Jim Valiant's right. Remember the printing press, how horrible that was. The invention of writing gave memory a huge hit, Jim says. The average person's now going to be able to read the Bible. What a debacle that's going to be. How horrible for humanity. These criticisms are not new. They're
no one's no
repackaged and
one's
addressed to AI.
no one's disagreeing with you. Well, maybe some people are disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
Ian, I've never
Reclusi's
used
saying
I
Reclusi's claim is it's fucking education right now. What I'm going to say to Reclusi is get better at what you do. There is always, for every weapon, there's a defense. You just haven't learned how to do it yet.
Okay, so I want to say something similar but also kind of different. It is the responsibility of the parents to teach their kids not to do shit like that. So my nephew, he wants to use AI to do his comprehension and to answer questions, and my sister will not let him do it. She just won't. If he has like a homework assignment that he doesn't understand, he can go to my sister, he can come to me, and I will often help him with his homework, but she point blank refuses to let him use AI for his homework. And it's the parent's job to enforce that kind of thing. I can understand for teachers it can be difficult to, enforce that kind of thing. But I mean, you can't ban a system just because it's bad for the kids. You can't ban shit because think of the children. Because so many things are fucking bad for children.
So this is what Claude said that it can do. It says that it agrees with you, it's unreliable, but it says that it can recognize certain stylistic tics common in AI-generated text. It can spot structural patterns. It can notice the absence of things, genuine tangents, strong opinions stated bluntly, odd word choices. He'd be genuinely unreliable, and this goes to your point. Skilled human writers who are clear, organized, and precise will trigger false positives, so that's true. My guess is that's not going to happen with 9-year-olds.
No.
Okay. Edited AI output. If a human edits it, that can give throw it off. Domain specific things and non-English text might be difficult, and then his own biases. And on obvious unedited AI text, there's a 70 to 80% accuracy, is what Claude says.
So, my issue is that I've seen too many people, and again, it's not new, it's just personal experience. I've seen too many people just use AI and say, I asked AI to make this logo. Here we go. I asked AI to write me a marketing strategy. I asked AI to write me an email. Do you know how many emails I get from clients?
Wait a second. Who cares if AI is doing marketing strategy? Well, that's good. That's good. If it's effective marketing strategy, why would that be bad?
If it's effective, the problem.
But
is
if it's not, okay, if it's not effective, then fire the person who came up with it. I don't see what.
So here's my issue. I get what you're saying. So what we get is clients who come to us and say, "Well, this is what ChatGPT told me. Like, I want to do this," and then we say, "Listen, for your market, this is not great." And then they want to argue with us, and that's not an ethical problem. It's just a personal annoyance. They're entitled to do that. And we just have to push back. That's not an ethical thing. It's just something that I've seen happen. People do put a lot of faith into AI, which can sometimes spit out absolute nonsense.
Yeah, this is a problem with human beings. That's my point.
Sure.
It's not unique to AI. Yes, new problems are going to come about with AI. New problems come about with any widespread technology that's new.
Sure.
But
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay, so then what? I want to know your take, Persephone. On balance, in all domains that we're talking about, how would you rate the goods and bads of AI? Is it 50% good, 75% good? What's your assessment?
85% good. I would say it. Hold on, before you get to that, 85% good. I think that we're still in a very early phase, and we're still in the fumbling around in the dark. A lot of problems are going to crop up. I think we're in that phase.
Reclusi, I'm sorry, Persephone, but I want to, Reclusi, I didn't tell you suck at your job. I didn't suggest, I didn't say you are incompetent. I'm not just shitting on you for the sake of it. That's not happening. I mean, I don't know. Like, how about where you tell me? I don't understand. Up here, you tell me you're moving the goalposts, man. And I didn't jump on you and say, dude, why are you telling me I don't know how to reason or I don't know how to argue or I'm being dishonest? I addressed what you said. What I'm saying is that in the case of AI, and it's not directed toward just you specifically brought up that you're a teacher and kids are doing this. And I'm saying that you need to get better because it's a new technology. It's understandable that you wouldn't be completely up to date on how to detect it and how to get around it. But that's what growth is. That's what people need to do. I don't know. I didn't tell you get better at your fucking job. I did say you need to get better at your job. And Persephone is not being pessimistic, Akira.
Persephone is very optimistic, just in general. If you think I'm being pessimistic, you're wrong.
I don't think so.
And also, like Reclusi, I just want to say something. For anybody who's confused, Reclusi is on Twitch, so we're seeing Twitch comments.
Yeah, you're not seeing Twitch comments.
Yeah,
but Reclusi, I'm not shitting on you. You're in a talk on ethics where you brought in debate points, and I'm going to debate back. And my response to what you're saying is get better at working around the AI stuff. I don't even think that's controversial. I think in anything that you do in life, first of all, you should always be trying to get better. If somebody tells me, Michael, you need to have a better opening to your show, you need to get better at advertising. Gene Epstein sent me an email. Michael, you should have included our Adam Smith interview in the interview about Richard Cantillon because the Cantillon interview is kind of the sequel. I didn't say to him, dude, what do you think? I'm some kind of an idiot? I said, oh, that's a good idea. I don't get that, Reclusi. I'm sorry.
Can I also give just a little bit? Can I also give just a little bit of explanation?
You can.
Right. So, in these things, Michael tends to get very passionate, which to people who don't know him can come across as kind of harsh, and it's just because he's passionate. He's not being a dick. That's all I want to say.
I didn't. Okay, so Reclusi, thank you for the apology. I am not being dismissive. I'm giving the reasons why I think the sort of panic out there, it might not be in the stream, but there is a sense out there that AI is going to ruin the world, that it's making everybody dumb. I don't buy it. I think the people that are going to be harmed by AI, and I'm not talking about the people that get unemployed or whatever. I'm talking about the people who are going to use AI as a cheat mechanism. Likely we're going to be harmed anyway because that's their approach to life. And when that's your approach to life, you end up suffering consequences.
So, I mean, I think, right?
And I agree with Not Another Guitar Channel, too, to an extent. He says schools need to figure out how to deal with AI on an institutional level. Individual teachers aren't fully equipped to do it. I do think, while I agree that it's an institutional thing, that doesn't mean that teachers can't take steps to get better.
I think that they should. I think that it also needs to, it's the person's responsibility, and if they are a child or they are a younger person who is still living with their parents, I think that their parents need to do better jobs of,
yes.
teaching things. I also just want to say, it can be very difficult when you have a strong opinion because something affects you, right? This happens to me. If something affects you and you're trying to make your point and the response kind of makes what is personally affecting you seem like it's nothing new, I can understand how that can come across as dismissive.
Okay. So Persephone ultimately doesn't even disagree with me.
Oh, no, not at all.
So I don't think she's being pessimistic, Akira. Initially, I thought she was because of what she was saying. So it was Persephone had a problem with communicating what she meant. You know, whatever, that it happens.
Always.
But
Yeah.
in the end, you saw, you know, through I put on a master class to draw out her actual viewpoint and where she ends up saying that she's very optimistic about AI. So Akira, you should count yourself very fortunate that you had me around because I was able to do that. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But seriously, I didn't get the sense that Persephone was so far away from my view. I think she was just stating the negatives, but that's kind of because that's what the article did. Correct or
Yeah.
wrong, Persephone? Am I wrong?
That's 100% correct. They obviously, but it's right in the beginning. I said there's nuance to this, you know,
Yeah,
because it's not just 100% bad or 100% good. You have to be aware of what the negative
aware.
aware. You have to be
Okay.
aware of what the negative consequences are. But at the end of the day,
Do I
like
have my
they
clips?
made an AI, right, and it was for like scanning bread, right, and this AI can now detect breast cancer or cancer cells before they become like even vaguely problematic. So, like, sure, maybe some kids are using AI to cheat, and maybe Deloitte, or however the fuck you pronounce their name, like, scammed a company out of however much money. But at the end of the day, AI has done magical things.
Yes. And
So,
Christopher Schmidt is a genius. All right. I've got to go, Persephone. This has been a very rich discussion. Persephone, you were right once again to focus on this topic as opposed to any others. That was Persephone's decision. She's wonderful and awesome, and I love her. And without her, we'd go nowhere. So that's about it. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on this channel, Jim Valiant and I will be discussing differences between deontological and teleological ethics. I think it'll be a riveting discussion. I will be relying on AI in my preparation for the show. So that's that. Persephone, anything else you want to tell them?
yes, I would also like to say that not this weekend, and maybe not next weekend, but at one point, um, we are going to also be doing a discussion on capitalism based
Uh,
on a comment from Reclusi.
Okay, and I have a question for Reclusi. Reclusi, don't apologize for taking up time in the stream. If I didn't want to address you, I'd just ignore you. Your questions
It's
help
true.
the discussion. If Kira
And
Felix said he asked a question and you ignored it, okay. What was I going to say now? Oh, Reclusi, we have to know: are you a guy or a girl? Because there's gender bias. I assumed you were a guy. Persephone assumed you were a woman, and we want to know who's correct.
and Akira, I have made a note of your question, and I promise we'll address it next time. But also, Reclusi, I want to know if you've read The Law by Bastiat.
Okay, I think Reclusi left. We're not getting an answer from Reclusi.
Well,
Well, Reclusi, let us know at another time. He says or she says, I've not read the law, by the way, but not answering the male female question, perhaps sticking to the recluse and not wanting us to know the answer.
yeah. Um, okay. Well,
Well, if you're a woman, I hope you're hot. You're a
oh,
man.
damn.
You're a
Damn
man.
it.
I was right again. All right, Reclusi. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody else, for your comments, for your questions. That is awesome. And please join us tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Time. And until then, please be